All right, let's jump right into something that sounds, well, completely backwards. We all know that exercise is one of the best things you can do for your body. But what if I told you it's built on a paradox? We're going to unravel how the very stress that harms your cells is exactly what makes you stronger in the long run.
Seriously, think about that for a second. It just doesn't seem to make any sense, does it? We're always hearing about avoiding things that cause cell damage, yet we go to the gym and actively cause cell damage. So what's going on here? What is this biological magic trick that turns a harmful process into one of the biggest health benefits we know of?
And this, right here, lays out the whole conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the immediate hit from a workout, the acute harm. We're talking free radicals, inflammation, real cell damage. But on the other side, you get this incredible long-term chronic benefit, a lower risk for pretty much every major disease, and a longer, healthier life. It's a total contradiction. So let's start by looking at the bad side first.
To really get this, we have to play detective for a minute. We need to understand the crime scene. How does something as simple as a run or lifting weights actually cause all this stress inside our cells?
Well, it all kicks off with oxygen, and the scale of this is just wild. When you start exercising, the amount of oxygen your muscles and heart are burning through just skyrockets. We're talking a 10, even 20-fold increase compared to just sitting here. Your body's internal engines are suddenly running at full throttle. And you know, just like a car engine that's revving really high, burning all that fuel produces a lot more exhaust, it's the same thing in our bodies. This massive increase in oxygen use has an unavoidable side effect. It creates a whole cloud of damaging byproducts. It's just part of the process of generating that much energy that fast. And here are the actual culprits. This metabolic exhaust is made of things called reactive oxygen species, or ROS. You've probably heard of them by their more common name, free radicals. These are molecules like superoxide and hydroxyl radicals, and they are super unstable. They're basically bouncing around inside your cells, desperate to react with and damage anything they touch.
And look, this is not just some abstract concept. This damage is real, and you can actually feel it. You know that muscle soreness the day after a tough workout? That feeling of fatigue? That's it. That is the tangible result of this oxidative stress. These free radicals are causing real, measurable harm to your proteins, your cells, and even your DNA. So, yeah, right now, this is sounding pretty bad.
But hold on, because this is where the entire story just flips on its head. It turns out that this damage, well, it isn't the end of the story at all. In fact, it's the beginning of something incredibly beneficial.
The secret to understanding this whole thing is a scientific concept called hormesis. You've probably heard the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, this is the biological basis for it. The idea is that a small, controlled dose of a stressor, like the free radicals from exercise, does more than just cause harm. It acts as a trigger, kicking off a powerful adaptive response that makes your entire system tougher and more resilient.
This quote from the research really nails the change in perspective. Those free radicals, they're not just mindless toxins running around causing chaos. Your body has evolved to see them as something else, as messengers. They're like a fire alarm, shouting to your cells, hey, we just went through a really stressful event. We need to upgrade our defenses so we're ready for the next time.
So, what happens when that fire alarm goes off? How does the body actually respond? This is where we solve the paradox. Your body doesn't just patch up the damage, it decides to overhaul the entire security system. In response to that signal from the free radicals, your body flips on specific genes, like NRF2 and PGC1 alpha. This then ramps up the production of your body's very own incredibly powerful antioxidant enzymes. Now, names like SOD and catalase might sound complicated, but just think of them as your body's internal elite cleanup crew. And with every workout, that crew gets bigger, better, and way more efficient.
But wait, it gets even better. Your body doesn't just get better at cleaning up the mess. It actually upgrades the engines so they make less mess to begin with. Your mitochondria, the little power plants in your cells, they actually become more efficient. They learn how to produce the same amount of energy while leaking fewer of those damaging free radicals. And on top of that, your body just flat out builds more of them.
This table just sums it all up so beautifully. In the short term, a single workout, you see a spike in ROS, muscle damage, and inflammation. It's a stressor, but you stick with it, and the long-term result, chronic exercise, is the complete opposite. You get lower baseline stress, your muscles become more resilient, and your whole body shifts into an anti-inflammatory state. The short-term harm is literally what creates the long-term protection.
Okay, so the biology is absolutely fascinating, but what does this all mean for us in the real world? Let's take a look at how this paradox actually plays out.
This, right here, is the proof in the pudding. When you look at trained athletes and compare them to sedentary people, you see the paradox in action. Athletes, who are constantly exposing themselves to huge amounts of free radicals during their workouts, actually have lower levels of background oxidative damage. Meanwhile, sedentary folks who have very low exposure have higher levels of chronic damage. It's not about avoiding the stress, it's about teaching your body how to handle it.
This all leads to a really common and logical question. If exercise creates all these damaging free radicals, shouldn't we be popping antioxidant pills like vitamin C or E to help our body out? It seems to make perfect sense, but the science says probably not.
And here's the crucial reason why. Remember how we said those free radicals are critical messengers? Well, taking a big dose of antioxidant supplements is like bringing in a communication jammer. They swoop in and neutralize those messengers before they can deliver their important message to your genes. The fire alarm gets silenced. And because your body never gets the signal, it doesn't get the trigger to build up its own, much more powerful defenses. In fact, some studies showed this can actually reduce the benefits you get from your training.
So let's just walk through this amazing chain of events one last time. Step 1, you exercise, which increases free radicals. Step 2, your body sees these not as a threat, but as a signal. Step 3, that signal tells your genes to build up your internal defenses. Step 4, your mitochondria get a tune-up and become way more efficient. Step 5, the net result is that your overall level of oxidative damage goes down. And Step 6, because of all this, your risk for all kinds of diseases plummets.
And I think this is the perfect way to wrap it all up. Exercise isn't just random stress, it's stress with memory. Every single time you work out, you're teaching your body. You are creating a memory of that challenge, and you're forcing it to remember, to adapt, and to come back next time stronger, cleaner, and far more resilient than it was before.